Hey guys, welcome back to Ace Designs 107. This is going to be the part 2 of the tutorial. I do hope that you enjoyed part 1 and I hope that you're still around. And if you haven't seen part 1, make sure you go check it out. The link in the description will be below for you guys to look at that one. So we're going to get straight into the tutorial without further ado. So we're going to make a new layer. And this is going to be under the model. And we're going to do some shadows. So we're going to grab up a brush and we're going to change the size a little bit smaller for this one, probably around 80 or 50. And the opacity is going to be around 40%. And we're going to make sure we're painting with black. And then we're just going to simply just paint under the ledge to make it look like the motto. The model's got some shadows going on. It's really easy, and because of it's under our layer, if it was above, that wouldn't work. So it's under. It looks like some, some shadows are happening, and you can get E on your keyboard for the eraser tool and just rub out a little bit, and then go B again, and shade it in like that. I think that's pretty good. Okay, so then we are going to use another curves adjustment layer, and we're going to set this as a clipping mask to our model layer, and we're going to start to darken the model. So we're going to click down here and make a curves, and then on this curves we're going to press B to grab up the brush tool, and we're simply just going to make sure that we're painting with black, and we're just going to go around the edges of this this model, and this is what this is going to do, is it's going to darken these edges, and we should have something really nice coming out, because of it just looks odd how this model is sitting right now. So yeah, I should really refer to Batman, shouldn't I? And make sure you right click and do create clipping mask, and if you mess around with these you can see the differences. So might do something like that. Okay, Batman's all about his black, so yeah, and you can also paint above, change up your opacity right up to like 100. And obviously, if you haven't done a perfect selection around his cape, you can grab up the pen tool or whatever, and just simply go around it really quickly, just to get rid of those small little imperfections that has gone through with the wand tool. You don't have to do this if you don't want to waste too much time. If you're just here to learn some techniques in Photoshop, don't stress too much. Right click, make selection, make sure that you select the model layer and press D to deselect that, and we should get something like this. Okay, so now we are going to make another hue saturation layer, adjustment layer, and we're going to make this a clipping mask to the Batman model by right clicking and do clipping mask, and we're going to change the saturation down to 75. So it's going to make it black with no color, and you know Batman, he's all about his black feels. Okay, so we're going to do basically these same techniques throughout the whole tutorial, but I'll just show you what I'm going to be using for each layer, basically, if that makes sense. So now we're going to press Ctrl Shift N to make a new layer, and you're going to name this Dodge and Burn, and for the color it's going to be none, and the mode's going to be on overlay, and the opacity is going to be 100%, and make sure you fill that with an overlay like that. Okay, then what you're going to do is you're going to select the Dodge and Burn tool, which it should be under this little icon here. So it's going to be under the Burn tool, Blur tool, and just press O to get that one up. And first, basically the dodge tool adds more light to the scene and the burn tool strengthens the shades. So we're going to add some little manipulation to Batman here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to brighten up the edges where I feel comfortable, and also make sure that the exposure is around 30%, turn it up more strong. You can do 100, just be really careful about how you do it, you know. I'm going to burn that one like there, see the creases come out. Something like that, and then I'm going to go down to my burn tool and exposure around 50. It doesn't really matter about your exposure. It's really cool, these tools, and you know, that's why Photoshop is so greatly used in the profession industry. I'm mostly using the actual dodge tool because of seem to like that quite a lot, and I'm gonna darken this area a little bit. And what I'm trying to focus on is, you see like the creases, like I want to add in those little creases, because like if you know like how light works a little bit, light goes against the creases, goes with the creases, and make sure you don't add too much because of we are darkening this scene quite a lot, so something like that. And we've got something really cool going on here. Okay, so now we're gonna start adding in the branches. And to add in the branches, we're going to go to File, Open, and we're simply going to open up the branches picture. Make sure that you go down to the description, a link will be there for you to source this image. Press W on your keyboard to grab up the wand tool, and just simply click, hold shift and click around the branches a couple of times. Select them in and out. I think that's all of them, and if you press V on your keyboard and move this selection onto your document, should get something like that. Now put it on top, release the clipping mask obviously, and that's incorrect. So you're going to press Ctrl Shift I and invert the selection. Now we can just delete it like this, I guess. See what we're working with. Yeah, I just would like to say while I'm doing this, thank you for all the support on my channel I've been getting. I really do appreciate it. It's been great to see all the views that I've been getting on my videos. And really guys, it's pretty cool to see that, and I really do appreciate it. You know, if you're a content creator, I wouldn't call myself like I'm do it for a living, I definitely don't. I'm far from that, but I do it for fun, you know, like, I don't do it seriously, I don't take things seriously on this channel. I used to consider myself like, oh yeah, I used to take things a bit too seriously, but really, I just do it for fun, and I like to have a great time with you guys. It's great interacting with you, and yeah, it's just a little hobby of mine, you could say, like. Okay, so now I'm gonna press Ctrl T and just resize this up, really easy. And I guess something like a position like that should be fine. And you can get rid of these little white areas, I guess. Press D. And obviously, this isn't the most effective way, you know, you're not going to get the most accurate selections. Especially that. Okay. Okay, yep, that should be fine, especially for this tutorial. And I might resize that up, just like that a little bit. Okay, so now we are going to add a mask to this layer and erase some of the branches. So basically, to add a layer mask, you just simply click this little button here, press E, and press B on your keyboard, make sure black's selected, bump up the size, and erase some of those branches. So Batman is our main figure in the scene, and something like that. Now don't be too fast if you have all these little white areas, because we're going to blur this anyway. We just want it like a little aspect of our picture. So we're going to go to filter, blur, Gaussian blur. Instead of 6 pixels this time, we're going to do 8 pixels. And you should have preview selected, so you're going to see what the branches will look like. But make sure that the branch or thumbnail is selected, not the layer mask. So just to clear some confusion, and do that to like 8. Press OK and see the white's already gone and everything's great. Okay, so now we're going to make another curves adjustment layer again, and we're going to set this as a clipping mask to our branches. And what this will do is we're going to start brightening up the areas on this one. So we're going to right click and do create clipping mask to these branches, and we're simply going to drag up these points, something like that, and something like that. And on this layer mask, we're going to use a big black brush to erase the lower part of the branches, and we'll get that, you know, kind of shadow. So it's going to be like a shading, and really guys, this is just standard stuff. So we're going to press B on our keyboard to grab up this brush tool. I'm going to change up the size a little bit, probably 400. Make sure that I'm on the layer mask and I can darken this area a little bit. I'm going to change the opacity around 20%, and what I'm doing here is simply just darkening up this area. And what this does is it makes like a little shadow on the branches. So if I do like this, okay, and try not to get the top of the branches, and you can just use your back buttons. See, like I keep on getting the top. Something like this. And I might change the opacity a little bit up on this one. You should have a pretty fine hand for this. It is not the easiest step in the tutorial. Simply just making that little highlight on the side of the branches. Like that. And you can probably hear my mouse furiously clicking in the background. It's because of it really isn't that easy, especially with a sensitive mouse. So. And on the top, you don't have to be too particular with this one. You're just get rid of that grey. And something like that should be great. Okay, so now basically what that looks is like we have a little highlight on the branch. It's pretty hard to see, but yeah. And now we are going to do the same technique what we did with Batman, the model of Batman. So we're going to press Ctrl Shift N again, make this a new layer, but before we do that, I'm just going to delete this layer. Make sure that the mode is on overlay, click this little button and name it Dodge Lighting, I guess. And we're simply just going to color this up a little bit. So basically, using your Dodge tool again, and yeah, you can color this up really easy, but make sure that you just be really wary of where you're actually placing this, and also make sure that it's a clipping mask to your previous layer. So create clipping mask, so we're not doing it to the whole image. And Dodge tool makes it brighter, and the burn tool makes it darker, like burn, and then Dodge tool dodges the light, I guess. That's a way of memorizing it. And we're going to burn this away. Now you can see that I kind of did pretty bad with these, so I can simply go back to my layer mask here, And I can grab a brush by pressing B on my keyboard, make sure the color's white, and recolor these back in, something like that. And now I've got those in. And now if I go back to my lighting, you can use the burn tool, you know, just to burn this away, but it's not going to be, you know, such a dramatic increase. Something like that. And, you know, for your own tutorial, not your own tutorial, for your own image, you can spend a lot of time on it. But, yeah, just be wary. Okay. So, we're going to add some smoke into this, you know, scene. So, we're going to go File, Open. And we're simply going to open up this image here. And we're going to press V on our keyboard and move this over all the image and probably position it somewhere like this. Press Ctrl T and we're going to resize this. We don't want the smoke to be really fine. We want it quite, you know, quite thick smoke. Okay, so to make this a little bit more accurate about smoke, because it doesn't look anything near smoke, we're going to add a layer mask to this, and we're going to press B on our keyboard, make it black, size black, put the size up right up. And we're going to simply just erase some of the smoke. But what I'm going to do on this is I'm going to make a new hue saturation. I'm going to create a clipping mask, and I'm going to change the saturation value to -100, so it's black and we see what we're working with. I'm also going to add in a curves adjustment layer, and this is going to be right up, and this is going to be create clipping mask. This one. Something like that. So now we know what our smoke will look like, and this will make it a lot easier when we're on this layer mask erasing the hard edges. Now when you are erasing these hard edges on the smoke, what you can do is you can mess around with the opacity of the brush, make it lighter when you're erasing, or softer. I'm just going to do it so you can see some of the branches, but it is still misty, and you can press Ctrl T, size this right up again, and maybe squash this in a little bit. It's a great thing about smoke, it doesn't really have a set shape, it doesn't have to be, you know, parallel or whatever. Something like that is working quite fine. And yeah, now with the opacity, you can change the smoke opacity right down to like 10%, but I'm going to keep it around 35%. That's working quite well for me. And now we just have to add in some bats to the picture, you know, because of Batman. So we're going to add in some of these small little details, and those details all add up to a really nice effect. So definitely we're going to add in these bats, and we're going to use the magic wand tool to select around them. Just Control I, press and what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my wand tool on my actual picture here. So I'm going to move this above, release clipping mask. Okay, so with these bats, I'm going to try and get a good selection with my wand tool. If I'm not, I don't know, tolerance, let's do 200. I'm also going to get rid of this little section here. I'll make things a little bit easier for us. I'm sure that there's plenty of good bat PNGs out there, so if you spend the time to look, you'll probably get rewarded. But let's just do 100. Okay, let's do 200. Basically what I'm doing is I'm messing around with the tolerance levels. Try and select all the bats. Okay. Zoom in here, and I'm going to grab up a quick selection tool. Maybe if I use a quick selection tool to select these bats. Sorry guys, just I'm trying to find an easy way to, you know, select these bats because it's not really working for me the easiest, you know, route of just using the selection tool. Like that. There should be some bats here. Now, obviously, you can make a really accurate selection around these bats with like the pen tool, but no fuss. This is just a tutorial, like I said before, in many instances, and I'm not going to take my time too fast about like what I'll actually get, because I'm just showing you techniques, and these guys are probably here already, and you've learnt like the basic techniques of using layer masks. But if you actually want to make this effect for your computer, which would be really cool, like a really cool wallpaper or something like that, and you can say that you made it, it's pretty good. And just going to delete that, and now we have some bats. Basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to save you some time, and I'm going to give you a download link, and these would already be, you know, in the background, so you don't have to select that. So I'm just going to hide this and just do bat back up, you know, just to save you some time. I really don't want you to take as long as I did. And with these bats, I'm going to press Ctrl T, resize them a little bit in the background. And I'm going to press Ctrl J, right click and do flip horizontally, flip vertically. Let's do something like that. And I might grab up a bat from here. And with this bat, I'm going to resize it around like that. Okay, so now we have our bats in the image, and we're simply just going to add some things to these bats really quickly and not too fast, not too long hopefully. So first we're going to merge all these into one layer. So our bat layer, go to filter, Gaussian blur with pixels around 4, press OK, and then we are going to basically add in a hue adjustments layer, so saturation adjustment layer, whatever you would like to call it, and I'm going to do the saturation -91. And that's going to get something like here. Now you can mess with the saturation, bump up the something like that, but make sure that this saturation is a clipping mask to the bat layer. Something like that should be good. And I might reapply a filter, Gaussian blurs. Something like that. 3.9 should be good. Okay, so now I'm going to make a curves adjustment layer to this one. And what this is going to do is it's just going to add in curves basically. It's going to be a clipping mask automatically. And I'm going to drag in points like up here. And also like up here. Actually I'm going to just do a little bit of experimentation here. Something like that should be really nice. Okay, so that's about it for the bats, and the next thing that we're going to do is adding some particles in it, and this is going to really kind of finalize our final effect. And to do this, we're going to simply go and open up this picture. You'll be able to download it. I'll also provide a picture. I found these particles in my very small graphics pack. I probably won't provide the small graphics pack, but I'll provide this image, and you should be able to use this one if you would like. And you simply drag this image onto your document, and it's not the highest resolution, but it's fine. It still works, I guess. And we're going to right click and do vertical, horizontal flip, something like this, maybe like that. And this needs to go throughout the whole scale of the document. You're going to press Control I on this while this layer is selected, make a layer mask, and you're also going to set this to multiply. And basically you have this, and then on this layer mask you're going to get a big brush by pressing B on your keyboard. It's not selecting in my case, and I'm going to simply get up the size around that. And on this layer mask that you've created, I told you to create, you're going to make sure that your color's black. It's your foreground color, and you're simply going to raise off these, probably change the opacity around 80. Just speed up production, and also around Batman a little bit. Okay. So now you're going to go to Filter, Blur, Blushing Blur, and you're going to set the radius around 5 pixels. And make sure that you're doing the blushing blur on this one. So you're going to go to Filter, Blur, Blushing Blur, 5 pixels, and yeah, you should get it on the dots, probably something like that. You don't want it too strong, you still want to be able to see the pixels. I mean the particles. I keep on referring to the pixels, but it's okay, and you can Control J this plenty of times on this one. Control J, right click, vertical, and move it all about, you know what I mean. Something like that. Something like that. So you've got particles in the image. And like I said, I'll provide this one, so you should be able to do it. Okay, so now we are going to create a color balance adjustment layer on top of all the layers, and we're going to add in some colors basically. So it's a pretty neat trick, and we're going to change the midtone settings. So we're going to go up to here and do -32, and here is going to be 32, so just plus 32, and it's going to make it blue. You can also do green, whatever, this color, but blue I think really works. It's a very neutral color, and like blue is a symbol of loyalty, so I've learnt that. So Batman's a very loyal person, so I guess that works. And we're also going to make a gradient map adjustment layer, and this is just going to map it, so it's not just going to be a solid color throughout. So it's kind of cool. So we're going to make a gradient adjustment map, and we're going to click once and adjust the color. So the first color is going to be AE7272, and I'm going to press OK. And the second color is going to be C0DD97. Press OK, and we're going to press OK on this. And then on this one, we're going to change the layer mode down to soft light, and the soft light's going to be opacity 100%. Now, if you don't like this mix, so you can try overlay, really gets that really nice effect. Really, you can try anything what you'd like. Like this one, color dodge works, just change down the opacity, get something really cool. But we're going to do soft light for today, and that's what we're going to get. And you can press Control J, intensify the little effect a little bit more. Okay, so that is the final effect. Make sure that you brand this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press M on my keyboard to grab up the rectangular marquee selection and just go around here, press G, and this is going to grab up a paint bucket tool. I'm going to make a new layer and fill that in, press Control D to deselect that, press Control T to resize it, and I'm going to resize it something like this. Press T on my keyboard to get Typography Pro, make the color white, and I'm going to do Ace Design. Okay, and I'm going to move this down there. Something like that. Now I can select these both by control clicking and change the opacity. Thank you so much for watching the tutorial. I really do hope that you enjoyed both parts, and if you would, subscribe to the channel for more educational videos in graphics design, and for other videos, maybe like giveaways or anything like that. And thank you so much for 6,000 subscribers. I really do appreciate it. Already at 6,100. So I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much for all the support, and I'll see you in the next video. And like and comment, because I love to interact with these guys.